Hi, thank you for joining me today. I have a podcast that I just reviewed about health and nutrition and diseases. This is a podcast on the Tom Bilyeu channel, and the title is "Everybody Who Eats Needs to Hear This Warning." David Pearlmutter on health theory, and it's a very good podcast, and he talks about diet. He talks about fitness. He talks about neurological conditions. He talks about sugar. He talks about scientific medications, theories, diseases, and a lot of different things. And I think this is a fantastic. Also, he talks about the BDNF pathway. Um, I enjoy this podcast very much. Um, I am um, really disappointed that my mother had Alzheimer's, and she was the first person or one of the people to go on the clinical trials, because at the time in the 1996, there were no medications for Alzheimer's, and they were doing their clinical trials for the medication called Aricept. And now there are several other medications developed for Alzheimer's and dementia and those cognitive disorders. And my sister has just been diagnosed. It's all on my maternal side. My mother's side, all our siblings had it. And that's a concern for me because I'm 58 years old. I'll be 59. And, I haven't had the best type of diet or the best type of exercise for a long, long time. And there were an 11-year period when I became obese that I didn't take care of my fitness. I didn't watch what I was eating, and I became obese. And that's why I had weight loss surgery in 2012. And 2016 and 2017, I was a little bit unhealthy. And there's a lot of things that go into that. But I sort of climbed myself out of that, and I'm still on the healthy path to try to eradicate the damage that was done in 2017. And you can look back on my videos. There's a lot of things that went on. And I didn't get any help from medical professionals. They just kept me on the medical merry-go-round. And then eventually I lost my job in June of 2017. I was laid off. And that sent me into a spiral of sort of like depression. And that opened up another can of worms. So, and I've sort of climbed myself out of that. And 2019, I'm going to figure out exactly where I'm going because I have defined a lot of things, where I want to go and what I want to do. I've been living off my savings for the last year. So it's dwindling down, and I sort of created a lifestyle to live within my means, live with less food, and that's why I'm fasting for the most part of the day, and one day I'm going to do a 24-hour fast. I don't need the food anymore. Fasting controls the food beast for me. It quiets down food in my brain, the need for food. Because if you watch 600-Pound Life, if you watch it and analyze those people, the more food, the more things that you palate, the more hyperpalate food that you eat, it activates this brain, and we have some kind of BDNF weird pathway. There's 3 of them, and I've talked about that in one of my other videos. What's her name? I found that in Fatima Stanford Cody, and Obesity is More Than You Think. But he the neurologist here, he talks about the BDNF pathway. And he talks about the pathway, but he talks about it in a neurological way, which is very interesting. So I didn't hear about this BDNF term until I watched that video, Obesity is More Than You Think. And because science, believe it or not, for the last, I guess, the last 50 years, all they've been doing is regurgitating old science that really hasn't changed by much. I mean, if you're old enough to know, um, President Nixon declared the war against cancer. People are still dying of cancer. They're still doing their old technology that they did years ago, and people are still dying. People are still suffering. And they try to hide the numbers of these diseases so the public don't know, but you have to search for them. And you realize, and once you realize that these numbers are real, not falling, that they're really profiting from the sick and the vulnerable and the diseased just to sell their technology, to make money for themselves. They're corporations. It's just mind-blowing. It's just mind-blowing. And you go down the rabbit's hole, you open another Pandora's box, and you just go, oh my God. I mean, obesity is pandemic in the world. Africa. What's that all about? You know, I went to Florida and I looked on the beach, and I have to admit that I was really self-conscious. I don't like being on the beach if I don't have a perfect body. When I lost my weight in 2013 and I was at my perfect shape, it was the honeymoon of my weight loss surgery. I felt so confident and so beautiful. But life happened, right? Life happened. And I put on 15 pounds, and I've been at a plateau, 160 pounds. I cannot get that below that number. It's just my body, and I have to wait, and I have to be patient, and I have to continue on the path of healthy, of eating, of maybe not eating, of watching what I eat, exercise, having good emotional health, paying attention to what I'm doing. And I've been doing that since 2013. I learned a lot since 2012, since I had my weight loss surgery. And I cannot rely on my weight loss surgery anymore because it's null and void. And I'm not going to cry over that anymore. I'm not going to cry over that anymore. Because I have the power. I have the ability to change what's in here. Because we all know now the gut and the brain and the gut, they talk to each other. Yeah, so it's not all willpower. It's a lot of components that you put together. So watch this video. You might get a little nugget of knowledge out of it, and you might not. But I'm just putting it out there. And if you watch his channel, and you can go to his YouTube channel, you might get some valued information, because I really think that he does sell a book, but I think his knowledge and his experience and his dogma is somewhat valuable, is somewhat authentic, but who knows? So anyway, I have to go to the grocery store because I really don't have a lot of food in the house. So I have to go to Aldi and get some food. And like I said, I'm doing fasting. I'm doing low carb, and I'm trying to really dial in and really figure out on the month if I'm doing a February challenge, eating challenge, and I'm going to stick with it for the month and see how it goes. I don't look so swollen. I was really swollen for a while when I was in Florida. I don't know what's that all about. But I was swollen, and the swelling seemed to go down. I think I was doing a little too much exercise. So I had to sort of like find a balance there that is enough, though I'm doing my challenge, but not to make me all swollen and inflamed. So I've been dialing that back for a couple days to let my body rest and try to figure out where I'm going to get another job. So I got to go to work, back to work at least part time. So anyway, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. I'll try to put in the card for this video. Have a great day.